Hello there and welcome back. Loads of goodies going on my table today. So I want to start working on putting the signatures in the journals that I've made recently, the journal covers. Let me just quickly go through the goodies with you and answer a couple of questions. So I recently did the video on using these red berry tea bags, and I said I was quite surprised at the difference in colours. There was all sorts of different suggestions as to why. One being that I didn't dunk my paper long enough. Well, I did. I do a lot of tea dyeing, a lot of coffee dyeing, and I did it just for the same amount of time as I did any other, and it wouldn't have mattered if I dunked it any longer. It still wouldn't have turned the paper pink. Another one was maybe it was to do with the new tin that I'd used, and there'd been a chemical reaction with the tannins from the tea and the tin, and therefore it turned the paper a different colour. Well, no, because again, this batch of papers that I did previously, I did these in my normal disposable meat tins, which is what I normally do my tea dyeing in. So it was just a reaction with the tannin in the tea and the paper itself. Now, I did get myself a new batch of copy paper, which I hadn't used before, and which was the one that I used in the video, which is why they didn't come out as bluey green as these papers, because this was from a different packet of paper. I went on to play a little bit further because as I was mopping up all the excess little bits and pieces, I noticed that the kitchen roll that I was using turned a little bit pink, and in fact it's got a bit of pink and green in it, so I thought I might be able to use that for something. So I had a couple of those, and then I got some, oh, there's another one there, look. That one turned really pink. That was the first one that I did, and then those were the leftover bits of kitchen roll that I'd got. So that one turned really pink. And then I got myself some linen fabric, because I thought, well, maybe the more natural fibres might pick up the pink a little bit more. Now this one looks a little bit like it's got the measles, but it might not pick it up on camera, but there's pinks and greens and purple hues in that piece. This one I immersed completely in the dye bath, and it's sort of come out a lovely mauvey colour, pinky mauve colour. And then this one has also got a bit of the measles because I dabbed the tea bag onto the fabric. The tea bag that I put the tea bag into didn't turn out pink like the other one at all. So this was the one that had the tea bag in that I was using for, you know, inking up the papers and all of the fabrics and stuff. And because the tea was in there for longer, it obviously decided that it wasn't going to go pink, and it actually went sort of a bit of a greeny, grey, brown colour. So, you know, and if I really wanted to create pink paper again, then I would either use food colouring or avocado dyes. But lesson learned that red berry tea bags don't automatically produce pink paper. Now, I kept the packages. I also kept the tea bag themselves. In fact, let me just wipe that off a bit more. And I also kept the tea, because these tea bags are paper, and I'll be able to make some interesting bits and pieces with those. So these were the bits that were left from the tea bag papers. I've got the tea bag packet, and then I've got another tea bag which I haven't used, and I'm going to take that apart because I want to use the little tab that's on there. I also want to use the tea bag paper, so I can tip the tea into there. And I've kept the tea because I'm going to make some, oh, I've just flicked that everywhere. Whoops. You didn't see that, did you? I'm going to make some faux paper using the tea bags and maybe bits of this tea bag paper. some faux handmade paper. Now I have done a video on that before, so I'll put it in the description box down below, and I'm going to now start making my signatures up for those journal covers. I'm going to start making the signature for the bigger version journal first, then I'll go on to making a signature for this one. So I'll talk you through the process for both of those, because obviously they're very different sizes. And then the little one, I'm actually going to use whatever's left over, or go to my scrap box and you know, see what I've got in there that I can actually add to it, but I want to use the scraps up in this one. So I'm going to make a start on this one, because fortunately it is big enough, and it's easier to show you with the papers that I've already dyed. It's big enough for my size of paper here in the UK. So we use A4 paper. So when I fold it in half, it's actually the right size to be able to fit inside of the journal cover. Now I'm only making this into a single signature. That's hard to say when you haven't got your dentures in right. So I'm going to aim for, let's see, 8 to 10-ish pages, or sheets of paper I should say. Right, so I know that that's the size that I want to go for. So cover to one side for now. And just looking through these other papers that I've got, so I think it'd be good to add some of the pink in, maybe. Let's put that one in. So again, I can just fold that one in half and just make the page smaller. And I'm going to keep those. The pinky purple, one of them, another one of them. Now as I say, I don't want to just fold them all in half, and I know that that whole sheet is the right sort of length, so I'm going to do just a random fold, pop it in, and then this extra bit I'm going to fold over, so that can become either a pocket or a flippy flappy bit. So that can either do that, or I can glue that down and make that into a pocket. With this one I might have this one vertical, so I'm going to fold that one in half that way. And then I can fold that up and then fold it in half, and then when I open it up I've got two pockets, then square it up. Then I've got two pockets, and then that one that way. So also within the journaling kit there was paper bags and there were glassine bags. Now I'm going to get the large one out. Excuse me, excuse me, the patterned ones could go on a page and then flip out, because that would make a nice journaling spot there. So I could add those on like that. So we'll put those to one side. And then this one, might be quite nice to fold that in half lengthways. Add that in there. And then the glassine bag I'm going to fold in half, and I'm going to chop the bottom end off so that it now is open. At that end, so I've now got a double-ended pocket. Well, actually, I might put it in the centre because I can then add some pockets on the corners there. Yeah, we'll have it in the centre. Okay, so I think that there's enough there for this single signature. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, I think that's more than enough. And then that can sit inside of there. Because as I say, I've yet to decorate them. So yeah, I think that's more than enough in there. Have a little think on this one. Now, obviously, a sheet of A4 paper folded in half is going to be too big for this particular journal. So height wise, it's just fractionally too long, and width wise it's also too long. So I need to do a little bit more thinking about this one. So with these, again, if I do this first one, because you want them smaller than the actual cover, so I could fold that one back and I can fold that one back, but I don't want to spend a lot of time cutting everything down to size. But I know that I do need to trim just about 1/8 of an inch off the bottom of that. Maybe just a tad more. Yeah, that's a better fit. So that is basically the size that my pages need to be. So there. So I'm always using the cover as my guide. Now I could, if I was being really smart, measure. Use my rule and measure. But I'm too lazy, so I'm not going to do that. And then fold that one back that way. So this one could have a lot more flips and flaps and all sorts going on. Alright, we'll use that one as my guide for cutting that down to size. Sounds like a jellycopter going by. So width wise it's fine, height wise too long. So I'm going to fold that one up and then fold it in half. Let's fold it in half that way. Okay. One bend, thank you. As I say, I don't want to spend too much time thinking about this. because at the end of the day they will all be decorated up anyway. Let's see how we're looking so far. Oh, that one wants chopping down, doesn't it? Okay. And it doesn't matter if the pages are shorter, so long as they are not longer. And I think that we might add paper bag in again. And that paper bag again lengthways. Now this is going to end up bulkier because of all these flips and flaps in it. And I think that we might add the book page in. And what I might do here is rip this in half. Fold it in half. It's the right width. Put it on that side. And then it's just a case of arranging all these papers so that they look attractive to you. Let's add it around this outside bit. Have a long thin page, because then the long thin ones like this, they're good for adding tabs on the edge. Let's have a look, see what we've got. That could maybe go in there. And I want one for the centre, I think. Have that as the centre centerpiece. Let's fold it in half. Chop a bit off the bottom. I want to add another flippy flappy bit. Let's do it that way around. I might just chop this down to size. Might put the pocket on that side. And then rip that edge off. So I can use this then as a decorative bit on the page. Oops. There we go. Alright, so let's have a look. That there, that there. 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 Yeah, happy with that. And then that can sit in that one. And again, by the time that's all decorated up, that's going to be a nice size as well. And then, as I say, with all the bits that are then sort of left over, I'll use these. I've lost it again. Keeps disappearing, this little one. I'll use these leftover pages in this little one. So now I'm going to sew these signatures into place. Now it's at this stage that I need to make a decision before I sew anything in place. This particular selection of papers, they're all the same on the edge here. And, excuse me, and that can be a bit boring. So do I want to rip some edges? Do I want to border punch some edges? Do I want to do any sewing on the sewing machine? Because again, it's at this stage that I really need to do that. But I think I'm going to go through and go and rip some of the edges. I've already punched the edge of this paper here with this punch. Yeah, I'm going to go off and go and do that, and then I'm going to clip them all together and sew the signatures in. Now this one's going to be a little bit different because this one's got that little spine here. So instead of doing it like that where they're all angled, I'm going to have to lay it down flat. So the glassine bag in the middle is going to keep slip sliding around. So I'm going to just add a paper clip on there. Have I got another one? Yes. To just try and hold. See if this paper clip's big enough. Just try and hold that glassine bag in place because they're slippery little blighters, the glassine bags. Come on. I want the big bit there. I just want to hold it in place. Okay. Make sure I've got it all the right way up. Everything's in the right spots. Okay. And then I'm actually going to lay them down flat and clip them all together, all the pages together, so that they don't move. Okay, and I can see there, look, that this is where that bit of card is. So I'm going to line that up there and make sure it's lined up at the bottom. And I'm just going to test that I've got this in the right place. There. Alright, let's use these big ones, and then I'm going to clip these to the cover. It's all technical stuff, this, you know. I all think it's real easy, this journal making malarkey. No, it's all technical. Okay. So just to recap, so I've paper clipped the glassine bag because it's slippy and smaller than the pages to a full page. Then I've clipped all the papers together. Then I've clipped the papers to the cover. See, I've normally got a big polystyrene block when I'm using my poker tool like this. So I'm just going to poke a hole through there and mind my fingers. And I'm going to do this as a 3-hole pamphlet stitch, so I'm going to have one at the top there. And then a third one at the bottom. By George, I think we've got it. Okay, so I've got my 3 holes. And I've got my thread. So, down there. Up that top one. Going to go down to the bottom one. And then up through the middle one. There we go. We're through. We're through, kids. We're through. I want my thread on that side. God, look at my neck. Normally this isn't giving me many problems. Okay, pull that in. Knock that off. Get it knotted, Carol, get it done. So I'm going to go through twice. Ended up with a bit of bulk there. I might have to decorate that bit up. Ooh. Done. Just hope I put it in the right way up now. Fingers crossed. If I've gone and put this signature in upside down, I will not be best pleased, and I'm going to have to get the swear jar out. Okay. Pocket. Whew. Okay. Everything seems to be the right way up. Oh, and it's all held in place. Thankfully, that's that one done. These I find easier when you don't have the spine bit. Move that ribbon out of the way. And I'm just going to poke. And poke at the bottom. Poke at the top. So through that middle hole. Ooh, pierced me ribbon, and I didn't want to. Through that middle hole. Up through the top. Down to the bottom. And then back up through that middle. This ribbon's determined to get in my way. There we go. And then I want one each side of that middle stitch. We'll feed that under there. Pull it in. Double knot. 1, 2. Buckle my shoe. And again. 3, 4. Who said it? Knock at the door. Again, fingers crossed that I've got it all the right way up. Yes. Woo! Breathe a sigh of relief. And that's those two now with the signatures in. I'm not going to show the third little one because you've got the idea. And as I say, I'm just going to use up some scrappy bits on that. So I'm going to do a little bit of decorating. So that's the next step.